Hey everybody, Desert Guardian here, and I have before me a Glock box. So, hey, let's take a look and see what's in the box. All right, so most of the Glock boxes look the same nowadays. A lot of you may remember they originally came in what really truly looked like a square Tupperware back in the 80s when the Gen 1s came out and even some of the Gen 2s. But this particular one is actually a Gen 3. So let's take a look at the Gen 3 Glock 26. So we'll grab the magazine, we'll grab the Glock, and we'll set the box aside. So, you know, typical Glock stuff, you got your cleaning brush, you've got your Glock booklet, you got your gun lock here. So we'll go ahead and set that aside. And we'll take a look. So here it is. This is the Glock 26. So this was, one of Glock's subcompact pistols, and it is a double stack. So it runs the same thickness as a Glock 19 or a Glock 17. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to reach behind me here and grab the 17 and 19 out of the safe. Okay. Figured I'd have the whole family together. So there is two 19s and a 17. So let's go ahead and we'll set aside the Gen 4 because we're looking at Gen 3s, which this is a Gen 2 Glock 19, but it has more in common with the Gen 3 than a Gen 4 does. So let's go ahead and clear everything here. 17. All right, so like I was saying, you know, the thickness, being a double stack, is going to be the same throughout the line when you're in the double stack 9mm. This goes for the 17, the 19, the 26, and even the long slide versions of it. You know, they do have the single stack subcompacts out now for Glock in the 9mm, but this was the original 9mm subcompact. So you've got your short barrel, and I'll show you that here. We'll go ahead and disassemble it. So as opposed to the 4-inch barrel on a Glock 19, this guy is even shorter. Here, let me grab this. So here's a Glock 19 barrel. Of course, this one's threaded, so we're just going to kind of count to the end there. And the Glock 26 barrel, you can see you're full 3/4 of an inch shorter in the Glock 26 barrel than a Glock 19 barrel. Like I said, we're just kind of going to the ends of the threads here. So a very short barrel, still maintains really good accuracy for its size though. On the inside, I'm just making a big mess here. Let's go ahead and we'll take apart the 19 here. Now if you look on the inside, now obviously this one has a Hive trigger in it, but everything is generally the same on the inside. You've got your slide release here, you've got your trigger bar, trigger block back here, your trigger spring underneath. These parts are all interchangeable Glock in the generation 1 through 3. In generation 4, they changed the trigger block back here a little bit. The trigger still is going to be the same. But so the 26, essentially, this area right here is exactly the same as the 19 or the 17. You know, it runs all the same mechanics. So if you want to get into running some aftermarket triggers like the Hive, it's going to work with the 19, the 17, or the 26. If you need to use replacement parts, that's one awesome thing about Glock. Everybody always talks about how neat it is to have a modular pistol, and you know, what does modular mean? You know, is it something that you can change parts without tools? You know, SIG has the interchangeable frames, things like that. But what I look at is, you know, you can push a couple pins out and you can swap parts. You know, it's very easy. I mean, obviously you're not swapping frames or slides or anything like that, but being able to swap out a trigger block or spring or something like that with minimal effort, I think it kind of defines what a modular pistol is, and that's something that Glock has been pretty good about. Now, The generation 1 through 3, which is, this look on the inside, has all interchangeability. In Gen 4, like I said, they changed the trigger block in the back here. This whole assembly with the ejector and everything is a little bit different in a Gen 4. You can still run the same trigger springs, connector, trigger bar. But like I said, there's a few little differences. Now, in Gen 5, they really switched everything up because they went with an ambidextrous slide release here. So this piece, let's see if I have something to point with. This piece here actually goes all the way up here and loops around and comes back here. So there's a different notch in the frame. There's a different trigger bar, different trigger block, and the slide release is just a big kind of a horseshoe shape through here in the Gen 5. So they really kind of went away from having everything work through multiple generations when they switched to the Gen 5. And that's one reason why you see a lot of popularity in the Gen 3. People want something that's easy to work on, that doesn't change much. I mean, people in general just don't like change. But that's not to say that the 4s and 5s haven't taken off like crazy. I mean, I've got a Gen 4 right here. This is one of my everyday carries. And we'll clear that up and disassemble it so I can show you some differences. So one of the big things that you're going to notice right off the bat is it has a reversible, so you can run ambidextrous mag release. So the Gen 4 is bigger, fatter. The Gen 3 is much like the 1 and 2. And like I said, the extractor's a little bit different. This trigger block is a little bit different shape, but generally kind of the same shape on the inside. But I digress. I'm here to talk about the 26, and here I am talking about pretty much everything sitting on my bench. So let's go ahead and put it back together. You put it back together the same way you take it apart. Slide that barrel in. Throw in it's got the dual spring captive guide rod and spring here. Throw that in. Now, one thing that is a little bit different with this is the guide rod and spring. This is kind of a big nose on it, which is very similar to a Gen 4 and not quite as similar to, let's see, a Gen 1, 2, or 3 in the 19. So that's a little bit different. We'll pop that guy back in. Put her in place. Slide the slide back on, and we're good to go. So this one is bone stock. This is a stock Glock 26. So unlike some of my other guns, everything in it is still the original Glock, polymer trigger, mag release, things like that. So it does not have a horrible trigger. It's got a decent break on it, and the reset is audible and crisp. Could it use some tuning? Maybe a little bit, but this thing is actually really, really nice right from the factory. Kind of surprising. I've had a lot of Glocks where the trigger's really mushy, or the reset it doesn't really have a defined spot where it resets, but this particular one has a great reset, and got your take up, and the break is actually really crisp. So this particular one, like I said, is all bone stock. This is going to be a donor pistol for a Polymer 80 build coming up of their new 940 subcompact frame. So it should be interesting. I'll definitely have a video up on that where we swap out all the parts on it, but I just kind of want to show it to you in stock form right now. The magazine it comes with, 10 rounds. This one is normally a flat magazine. It's got a Pierce pinky extension on it. Normally it looks like that. It's a stubby little magazine in it. That's 10 rounds. You can get a factory 12 round for it. But like I said, this is just a standard 10 round mag. Even with the finger grooves, it actually fits pretty comfortably in my hand for a subcompact. I have the 45 Shield too, which is a single stack. It's narrower than this, and it's actually a little bit longer in the grip. So it fits without adding a pinky extension on that one. But this one with the pinky extension fits very well. And I have average size hands. They're not huge. They're not tiny by any means. But with with the finger grooves and the pinky extension, this one actually fits pretty good. I've always been sort of a back and forth about finger grooves. Like, you know, my Gen 2 I love. The thing fits my hand perfectly, no grooves. My Gen 4, I actually kind of ground off the humps on it so it would fit me better. Now my 17, for these grooves are spaced out a little bit more, and it fits my hand really, really well. And the 26, for some reason, fits my hand better than the 19 did. You know, there is no light rail on this. You know, you can buy the accessory lights that clip on here, but yeah, it does not come with an accessory rail, so that's kind of a a throwback to the Gen 2 and Gen 1. One thing I do really like about it is this nice little carry melt that they've done to the nose of it. You take, you know, your standard Glock slide, and it's very square. You know, it's not aerodynamic by any means. I mean, it serves its purpose just fine, but this one being a carry pistol designed to be a concealed carry subcompact, they wanted to really bring that nose in a little bit. I mean, you can see the angle that it's got, and that's really interesting. If you send frames out to be custom machined, like I did with my Gen 4, a lot of people will put that bevel on it, you know, the carry bevel, like Maple Leaf Firearms did to this one. But the 26 has always come that way. Coincidentally enough, the Gen 5 comes with that, and so does the 19X. So they've listened to the consumer a little bit about, you know, what they like and what they don't like, and this has been something that a lot of people are fond of, is the way they have the carry, the nose bevel on it, and so they ran with that with the Gen 5 with the 19, not just the 26. So it also has a smoother transition right here where the frame gets to its wide point at the trigger guard. You can compare that with the 19 or the 17, and it's nice and smooth and aerodynamic here, and it's not quite so much here. It's definitely more square. So, you know, that's going to aid in and out of a holster, in and out of you know, whatever position you carry it in. But like I said, that's what it's designed for. It's designed to be a subcompact carry pistol. Yeah, so there it is. That's the Glock 26. I really like it. It's a great size. I'm a big enough guy that I can concealed carry 17, a full-size 1911, a 19. But you know, there's some days where 10 rounds and the lightness of a smaller subcompact pistol work well. I mean, I live in the desert. There's a lot of days out there I'm in shorts. So having a smaller, lighter carry pistol is a plus. So you know, it fills a need, definitely. I mean, you know, there's a lot of people out there that, oh, it's too small, or oh, the barrel's too short to be accurate, or, you know, whatever. I mean, there's naysayers for everything. I really like it. It's a great size, fits well in the hand, ultra reliable. I mean, it has the reliability of any Glock. I mean, they do what they're designed to do. They throw rounds down range. I mean, get it dirty, get it wet, do whatever you need to do. It's a Glock. It's tough as nails. It's never going to let you down. So that's it for now. I just wanted to give you kind of a high flyover of the Glock 26. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, leave them below. And hey, do me a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button down there and keep your eyes open, because like I said, I'm going to take this 26 and I'm going to completely transform it. We're going to be taking all the parts out of it, right down to the frame, and rebuilding it into something really cool. And that's coming up here, you know, definitely in a few weeks. Just waiting on some parts and some top secret stuff to happen. But hey, it'll be fun. So, you know, subscribe and you'll see all these builds coming up. But yeah, there it is, Glock 26. That's it for now. Desert Guardian, out.